Welcome to What Dwells Beneath, where we tear through the shadows to chase things that claw at the edge of your mind. I'm your host, Perzival, joined by my producer Neku and our research assistant Cryptid, who's probably leafing through some weathered logger's journal as we speak. Tonight, we're not chasing ghosts in city alleys or killers in cursed houses. We're deep in the forests of the Pacific Northwest, where the pines grow so thick they choke the sky and something's always watching, just out of sight. This is the story of the Hidebehind, a creature from lumberjack folklore that's never seen, never caught, but always there, slipping behind trees, waiting for you to turn your back. Is it a beast of flesh and bone, a spirit guarding the wild, or a fear we conjured to explain the dark? As some of you know who attend the live streams, I live in a cabin, deep in the woods. So doing research for this episode made me look over my shoulder once or twice. So grab your headphones, lock your door, and let's step into the woods where eyes burn in the shadows. And before we go any further, there is a content warning. This episode dives into violence, paranoia, and primal fear. So listen with care. Let's step back to the 19th century, where the forest truth is as elusive as a shadow in the mist. Picture the Pacific Northwest, 1870s. The forests of Oregon, Washington, and Minnesota are a sea of green. Towering cedars, pines so old their roots seem to pulse, their branches blotting out the sun. Lumber camps dot the wilderness, ramshackle clusters of tents and shacks where men swing axes from dawn to dusk, feeling trees that groan like dying giants. Life here is brutal. Loggers work in the rain that soaks to the bone, their hands blistered, their lives cheap. A falling branch can crush a skull, a swollen river can swallow a man whole. Bears and cougars stalk the underbrush. Their growls are a reminder that the forest doesn't care. Camps are rough, filled with drifters running from debt, law, or their own demons. Whiskey flows freely. Fights erupt over cards or insults, and the isolation gnaws at their minds, turning every shadow into a threat. Around campfires, stories spread of accidents, betrayals, and the Hidebehind. A creature no one's seen face on because it's always behind you. It's tall, they say, 7 to 10 feet, lean as a starved wolf, with limbs that bend wrong and a body that melts into the bark. Its eyes, nobody agrees, but they burn like embers in the dark, watching from just beyond your shoulder. Now, the Hidebehind doesn't just hide, it hunts. Men vanish, strong loggers, hardened by years of labor, gone without a scream, their axes left in the dirt. In 1910, folklorist William T. Cox, fearsome creatures of the lumberwoods, captured one such tale from Wisconsin. A logger named Tom Brody felt eyes on his back all day near the Chippewa River. He turned, saw nothing, but the feeling grew, like a weight on his spine. That night, he didn't turn. His crew found only his boots, half buried in the mud. No tracks leading away. The Hidebehind's name comes from its trick. No matter how fast you spin, it's behind a tree, a rock, a shadow, always out of reach. In the 1880s, fear of what it was so real that the camp's banned solo work. Loggers began pairing up, their lanterns swinging as they scanned the dark. Native American lore, especially from the Ojibwe or the Algonquin, deepens the tale. They spoke of manitou, forest spirits that punish trespassers on sacred land. The Hidebehind feels like one, a shadow born of the wild, watching, waiting. Loggers, carving up ancient groves for railroads and towns, were stepping on holy ground, felling trees sacred to tribes for centuries. The Ojibwe told of a shadow stalker that took hunters who killed too many deer or cut trees without offerings. Is the Hidebehind their vengeance, or something older, born of the forest itself? Let's peel back the legend, because the Hidebehind story is a tangle of fear and folklore, born in a world where the forest is both home and enemy. Lumberjack tales paint a wild picture, a creature extremely tall and possibly thin, its body flickering like a shadow on water, blending into bark and dusk. Its arms are long, fingers like gnarled branches, tipped with claws that don't make a sound. No one's seen its face. Some say it's a void, featureless. Others swear it's got a grin, sharp and long, glimpse for a heartbeat before it slips away. Its speed's unnatural, darting behind trees faster than you can blink, always one step ahead. The only sign it's near, a chill down your spine, a rustle that's not the wind, and the unshakable feeling you're being hunted. Lumber camps of the 1800s were breeding grounds for such stories. Logging was a death trap. Axes slipped, trees crushed, disease festered in damp tents. Men lived on the edge, half-starved, half-drunk on cheap whiskey, their nerves frayed by endless rain and isolation. Many were drifters, running from pasts they didn't want to share, and their only company was the forest's endless drone and the ghosts of their own mistakes. The Hidebehind became their boogeyman, an explanation for the unexplainable. In 1903, a account from Minnesota's North Woods, recorded in a local newspaper, tells of a camp near Ellie where 4 men vanished over a month. Each spoke of a shadow tailing them, a figure they couldn't catch. Their boots were found, hammers, saws, a tin cup, but no bodies and no blood. Locals blamed the Hidebehind, saying it took those who disrespected the forest, like loggers who felled sacred pines or left trees burning. The Ojibwe, whose lands overlap these camps, had long warned of spirits that guard the wild. Their tales, shared with the settlers in the 1880s, describe a shadow stalker that punished greed, taking hunters who killed without respect or loggers who scarred the land. One Ojibwe story, told near Lake Superior, spoke of a hunter who felt watched for days, his traps emptied, his fires snuffed. On the 5th night, he vanished, leaving only his knife, blade clean, in the snow. The Hidebehind's roots go deeper than lumberjacks. Algonquin-speaking tribes, including the Ojibwe and Cree, believed in manitou, spirits that could shift shapes, appearing as animals, shadows, or nothing at all. And I bet some of you have noticed by now, the Hidebehind shares traits with the Wendigo, a cannibal spirit born of hunger and ice. But where the Wendigo is loud and ravenous, the Hidebehind is silent, patient, a predator of stealth. In 1878, a missionary in Minnesota recorded an Ojibwe tale of a silent hunter that stalked those who broke the tribal laws, like taking more game than needed. Its presence was a warning, felt in the bones, seen only in glimpses. By the early 1900s, the Hidebehind was a fixture in lumberjack lore, its name whispered from Wisconsin's North Woods to Oregon's Tillamook Forest, a shared fear across camps hundreds of miles apart. The Hidebehind's terror lies in what it leaves behind. Nothing. No tracks, no hair, just absence. Let's dig into the stories that keep it alive. In 1887, a lumber camp near Minnesota's Leech Lake lost a foreman named Amos Pike. His journal, found years later and quoted in 1939 folklore anthology, described days of unease, whispers in the pines, shadows that moved wrong. His last entry read, "It's behind me now. I know it. God help me." His body was never found, but his axe was, blade clean, stuck in the stump. Locals said the Hidebehind took him, a toll for logging too deep into sacred land. In 1899, a Wisconsin camp near the St. Croix River reported 3 men missing over a winter. They complained of a presence tailing them, a shadow they could not pin down. Their camp was found intact, fires cold, tools scattered, no signs of a struggle. In 1925, Tale from Washington's Olympic Peninsula, printed in a local paper, described a logger who saw a thin shadow behind a cedar, its eyes like dull coals. He fled, quitting the next day, and his story spreading in saloons. The early 20th century added more chills. In 1912, a Minnesota logging crew near the Boundary Waters found a deserted camp. Its tents were untouched, a half-eaten meal on a thin plate. The missing logger, a man named Elias Holt, had told his friends he felt watched, hearing steps that stopped when he turned. No tracks, no blood, just silence. In 1931, an Oregon logger in the Sirislau forest told a local tavern he'd seen a tall shape slip behind a fir. Its outline was wrong, like it didn't belong. He felt it follow him for hours, never making a sound, and swore off the woods for good. Modern accounts keep the legend breathing. In 1953, an Oregon logger in the Tillamook Forest told the Portland Telegram he saw a tall, dark shape behind a tree, and as soon as he turned around to get a better look, it vanished. He felt watched, his hands shaking so badly he quit. In 1987, a hiker in Washington's Olympic National Forest told the Seattle Times about a figure that matched his pace, always behind a trunk or a tree, its eyes like glowing ash. He ran, heart pounding, but felt it trailing for miles. The Hidebehind's power is its invisibility. Unlike Bigfoot, it leaves no footprints, no fur. Its evidence is absence, missing men, empty camps, a chill that lingers. Is it real, or the forest's way of saying we don't belong? Is it a creature, a spirit, or a fear we can't outrun? Let's chase the theories, from the grounded to the bone-chilling, and see what fits. Our first theory is it's a real animal, an undiscovered predator. Maybe a type of big cat, cougar, or a lynx adapted to the dense forest using stealth to hunt. It's a thin frame, and speed could explain the slipping behind trees trick. And loggers, half drunk or exhausted, might have turned a glimpse into a monster. But cougars leave tracks, claw marks, and bodies. The Hidebehind leaves nothing but silence, and no cat takes men without a trace. Theory 2. It's a native spirit, the manitou. The Ojibwe and Algonquin speak of forest guardians that punish those who harm the land, and the Hidebehind fits. Silent, vengeful, tied to the sacred groves. Loggers, cutting down ancient trees, were perfect targets. Its invisibility could be spiritual, a being that exists just beyond our world, watching, judging. This explains the dread it brings, like a warning carved in the pines. Theory 3, it's psychological, a product of paranoia. Lumber camps were brutal, long hours, isolation, constant danger. Pareidolia, the trick of seeing faces and shadows, could turn a rustling branch into a stalking figure. Add whiskey, exhaustion, and campfire tales, and the Hidebehind becomes a real, shared fear for men on the edge. But why the consistency across centuries, from native tales to modern hikers? Theory 4, it's a trickster entity. Folklore, from the native manitou to the Celtic puka, it's full of beings that toy with humans. The Hidebehind could be one, not killing for food, but for chaos, thriving on fear. Its ability to vanish, to stay just out of sight, feels like a game, a predator playing with its prey. Theory 5, it's the forest itself. The Pacific Northwest woods are ancient, alive with a presence that humbles you. Maybe the Hidebehind is the land's anger, given form. A shadow born of clear-cut scars, watching those who carve too deep. Native beliefs say nature has a soul, and it doesn't forgive. And finally, Theory 6. It's a cultural echo. The Hidebehind might be a story born of clashing worlds. Native reverence for the land meeting settler greed. Loggers, stripping forests for profit, felt the weight of their destruction, and the Hidebehind became their guilt, a shadow they couldn't escape. What's your take? Beast, spirit, or the forest revenge? Before we wrap up tonight, I want to share 2 listener encounters that hit our inbox recently, which also was the inspiration for this episode. Both of these carry that unmistakable weight of truth, that kind that makes you rethink the woods you thought you knew. Our first encounter comes from Katie M. in Duluth, Minnesota. She writes, "Hey Perzival, I've been listening to the podcast for a while now, and I figured it was finally my time to share my own experience. My name's Katie, I'm 27, and I live in northern Minnesota my whole life. I'm a big fan of camping. My family raised me on it, so heading out into the Superior National Forest never really fazed me. But last summer changed the way I see those trails forever. I had taken a long weekend to myself and decided on a solo trip, something I've done plenty of times. I got to the trail later in the afternoon and ended up still hiking as the sun was dipping low. The pines turned this golden black color, beautiful but scary, and I remember thinking that the silence was strange. Normally, the woods are alive with bugs and birds, but that evening it was just me and the crunch of my boots. It almost felt like the forest was holding its breath. Then I saw it. Out of the corner of my eye, something tall and impossibly thin slipped behind a pine. It was darker than the dusk and almost like the shadows were folding in on themselves. I froze, heart pounding. When I turned to look, there was nothing. Just branches swaying like nothing happened. But the air changed. It got heavier, pressing on me, like the way a thunderstorm feels before you hear the lightning strike. My breathing turned shallow, and every step I took toward the trailhead felt watched. I swear I could hear a faint rustle behind me, but whenever I stopped, they stopped too. By the time I made it back to my car, I was drenched in sweat. I didn't see it again, but that fleeting glimpse was enough. I've camped since, but never alone. I still love the forest, but I can't shake the feeling that something was watching me that night. Something that didn't want me there. Katie, I felt that in my bones. That unnatural silence, that fleeting shadow in the corner of your vision. That's exactly how the Hidebehind makes itself known. One glimpse, and suddenly the whole forest feels alive with eyes. You trusted your instincts, and that's what got you out. Our second story comes from a listener who wants to remain anonymous out in Oregon's Suey-Slaw Forest who emailed just last week. They wrote, "I've always been the type who feels at home in the woods. I grew up hiking and backpacking, and for years I've done solo trips without ever worrying. But what happened 2 months ago changed me. It was twilight when I set up camp, the light bleeding away faster than expected. That's when it hit me. The prickling sensation, like cold fingers, tracing the back of my neck. At first, I brushed it off, but then I saw it. A tall, narrow shadow sliding behind a fir tree, moving too smooth to be human. I will admit I was scared. I froze, my flashlight shaking in my hands as I swung it towards the tree. And where something should have been was nothing. Still, I couldn't shake it. The feeling it grew stronger, like something was pacing me, always just out of sight. Every time I turned, there was only silence, but my gut screamed I wasn't alone. My heart was hammering so hard I could hear it in my ears. I packed up as fast as I could and hiked out in the dark, stumbling over every root, refusing to look behind me. I didn't stop, not even at the trailhead. I got in my car and I got out of there. Headlights pointed down the empty road. I haven't gone back since, and I've told myself I imagined it, but deep down, I know I didn't. Something was there and something was following me. After doing research, I learned that this was called the Hidebehind, and it gives me some peace knowing that I'm not the only one that has experienced this. To the anonymous listener, I don't doubt it for a second. That's the Hidebehind's game. It doesn't need to show itself fully. One glimpse in the corner of your eye, one shadow too smooth to belong, and suddenly you're running for your life. But that's the unfortunate thing. The Hidebehind isn't a shadow you can outrun. From Ojibwe warnings of forest spirits to lumberjack nightmares of vanished men, it's a creature that lives in the space behind you, where fear meets the unknown. 7 feet of silence, eyes like embers, always watching, never seen. Is it a predator hiding in plain sight, a manitou guarding secret groves, or a story we tell to keep the forest secret safe? Its terror is its truth. In the woods, you're never alone. Next time you're hiking where trees close in, feel the prickle on your neck. Turn fast, but you won't catch it. The hidebehind's always there, behind the next tree, waiting. Well, that's the show for today. A huge thank you to you, dwellers, for trekking these haunted woods with us. You're the pulse of what dwells beneath, the ones who keep the shadows breathing. To our Patreon crew, a special shout out to Rogue for joining the supporter role. Want to support our show? Go to patreon.com/whatdwellsbeneath. The link will be in the show notes for exclusive chills and shout outs. To our amazing patrons, you are our lantern bearers. If you got a theory you'd like to share with the show about the Hidebehind or a tale that chills your bones, drop it at taverndwellers.com or join our Discord, the Tavern Dwellers, with over 2,700 members and counting. And if you want more from me, Perzival, be sure to check out my gaming content on YouTube and Twitch. Links will be in the show notes as well. Neku's got his gaming content there too, and he's the wizard weaving our eerie vibes. Rate us on Spotify or Apple, it fuels our hunt. Thanks to Neku and Cryptid for making this dive so damn chilling. The next week, we're chasing another nightmare. Until then, stay curious, stay safe, and don't turn your back to the woods.